Hello. Welcome back to yet another Website Depot podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benevent. And today we're changing things up a bit and we're talking to you with different members of the Website Depot family that can tell you about all kinds of different things, not only that what we're doing, but what they're doing and where they come from, and really how all of that can help your business, no matter pretty much what you're in. So today I'm very happy and lucky to be here with Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffany. And a little bit about myself. I
Mm-hmm.
am a senior at the University of California, Davis,
Mm,
majoring in psychology and
mhm,
minoring in communication. So I've been an intern for Website Depot, which is an award-winning Google Partner website design
mhm,
agency,
mhm.
for about 6 months now. And I've learned so much regarding website design, SEO analysis, and social content and more. And yeah,
No, that's
that's
great.
it. Yeah.
It hit me that as the host of the Website Depot podcast, I never mention enough times how we're award winning. Like I just
You're
assume
right.
from you're watching this, you're like, hey, you're not. It's I
Mhm.
assume the podcast of the company I'm watching. Maybe they've done something, but yeah, no, that's great. I should totally do that. Well, that's cool. Okay,
Mhm.
so you're a senior in college, and I think that kind of leads into, kind of my next question is what exactly is it that you're studying there or focused on or that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm learning a combination of psychology and communication. So
Mm,
I think it's a very unique combo
I
because
think so.
throughout my academic experience, I'm most specialized in social psychology.
Mm,
So, and that focuses on just learning about human behavior and understanding how our thoughts, feelings, and just the society influence our actions. So it has a range of topics, including emotion studies, just learning about the brains and like learning about yourself. And one of the most interesting topics that I've learned so far, it's learning about self-esteem and how that influences your thoughts, your perceptions, and behavior. Basically, for example, a person with low self-esteem may be associated with having negative self-reviews
hmm
that could lead to like psychological distress, such as depressions and substance abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, so therefore we must always, it's so important to like always check in with yourself and always prioritize yourself first as much as possible. Yeah, so that's why I believe that resources such as the services that Reputation Rehab provides
Mm,
are like extremely important for people who need assistance with
hmm
their mental health and substance abuse.
hmm
So the services we provide for people to educate themselves to be more aware of resources is being healthier, happier.
No, that's all great. I mean, you got ahead of me there. That's right. Because my next thing was going to be to ask a little bit about,
Yeah.
Reputation Rehab and what you're doing for them and how that figures into it.
Mm,
So just to kind of build on what you said, it's like, all right, so Reputation Rehab.
mm.
I guess you start with what your connection to Reputation Rehab is and what you've done for them there.
Having an extensive background in mental health, I
Mm,
really enjoy making the connections between important mental health matters such as addiction, substance abuse, and applying those to marketing strategies to raise awareness for
mm,
those matters. Yeah. So, for
mhm.
example, I think I've mentioned in my blogs,
Yeah.
the ranking keywords is one of the important tactics in
hmm
marketing.
hmm
So just by adding backlinkings and references to the word to rank it higher, Repetition Rehab will just push the facilities and the resources up so that more people will likely to reach out to it. So I've created a few social content for Repetition Rehab and
hmm
just pushing them up and just making them just original and creative.
Okay. No, that's
Yeah.
so interesting. I want to ask more because I was so struck by, you're talking about the connections about
Yeah.
between like, mental health and all that. And
Mhm.
it's interesting, we were talking there for a few minutes about your background and what you study. And at no point
Yeah.
did any of it ever get to marketing, which is what
Mm.
we're doing here and all that. I guess, just in the context of these connections, I'd love to hear
Mm.
how the things that you've studied and all that pertain to marketing, like how they relate there, what
Mm.
that connection really is.
Yeah, so the connections between communication studies and like from my own personal research,
hmm
the statistics from the American Psychological Association so-called the APA,
Hmm.
shows that teens and younger generations have reported higher stress levels in comparison to other age groups as of 2020. This involvement of technology in providing resources and just promoting mental health, there's just no better way to do that than
Mm.
to reach that specific demographic.
Gotcha.
And so on top of that, Reputation Rehab also has 3 different packages that just allows each person to choose which works best for them.
I'm
So
curious, and I don't know if this is a little far afield of where we started, but I mean, I was struck by how when we mentioned this at the beginning, you were like, okay, so much about how the connection between high self-esteem and health, both mental and otherwise. I mean, is there anything off the top of your head because one thing I always do in these podcasts is I always try to think of, okay, what's something that when somebody turns this off, they could do to help their business today? Well, with you, we can kind of shift that around a bit. What's something that someone could do to help themselves today? Is there anything off the top of your head that, like, hey, somebody's watching us, maybe they're not in the best place and they're having a great day? Is there anything that they could do, even some minor steps to improve their self-esteem or their mental health or their emotional well-being, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so one best way to improve your self-esteem or to feel better, to feel healthier, everyone is different, every situation, but just the general consensus is just surround yourself with people who support you and who will be there for you. Everything will be okay. It's just everything, it's temporary, and there's always solution to every problem that you're
Right.
experiencing right now. Therefore, just it's definitely easier said than done, but yeah. Um, but it's good to have to be in that mindset as the first step to getting better and just being healthier and more content with your life.
Absolutely. No, I mean that makes so much sense. I guess, yeah, now, and like I said, this may be too far afield, but I'm just fascinated by when you started talking about when we did get into the marketing a bit and talking about reputation rehab and all that kind of thing, like
Mm,
as I said on these podcasts, we try to give a bit of advice or something. Is there something that, if someone's watching this who's maybe they own a rehab or they're in business with one and they're like, hey, and they're on the fence about, well, should we start up with reputation rehab or is there something
mm.
we can do to help our, rehab or detox facility reach out to a few more people? Is there something like that off the top of your head, Tiffany?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm most familiar with social media and
Mm,
just creating creative contents for social media because I feel like that's one of the strongest tactics to reach more people. So
mm.
I would recommend focusing more on making it original and creative. That's all I could think so
Mhm.
far. Of course, there's so many things that you could do
For
but
sure.
social media, it's definitely one of the most important factors to take into account.
Gotcha. No, that's great. I guess not to put you on the spot here, but it's something I've just been thinking about sitting here talking to you. I mean, it's you're someone that studies this, that lives in it, that works in it.
Mm,
What's like a prediction or two, or where do you see this going? The idea of that connection between
mm,
mental health and technology and all this, like where do you see us?
mm.
I mean, obviously, if we'd done this a year ago, where do you see us doing this thing? Well, it wouldn't be on Zoom. Like so predictions are only worth
Uh,
but so much.
yeah.
But I mean, like, but
Hmm.
where do you see in the trends you're seeing? Like, what's some things that could
Mm.
possibly occur on the horizon?
Oh my God, that's one of my questions for you too.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
No, please. We ask me
yeah,
after. Yeah, you ask me after
yeah,
that. That's fine.
yeah,
But,
yeah. Okay. So, in my opinion, I strongly believe that the relationship between mental health and marketing slash technology will just continue to be on the rise. It will just
mhm,
keep improving, especially with the pandemic going on.
mhm,
Nothing is known for sure.
mhm,
So it's a high possibility that we'll be living remotely and working remotely for a while.
mhm.
Therefore, I believe that new strategies and treatments that like online treatments and yeah, and remote strategies will just appear more, and
Hmm.
the field will just keep getting better and just keep improving. So
Gotcha.
I really strongly believe in this relationship.
No, I think that makes sense. I mean, just yeah,
Mhm,
to piggyback on what you'd said, because you were saying that was one of your questions for
mhm.
me, is that I think like, I get the feeling because I've written for Reputation Rehab too, obviously at this point, and just from looking at research, and obviously I haven't researched it as much as you. It is not my field of study, but that
Mm,
rehabs, as much as any other business, and perhaps they're a little bit behind in this, is that every business needs marketing, and then the switch flipped to, well, every business
mm.
needs digital marketing. And I think that Tide has finally really reached the rehab field. And
Yeah.
so it's to kind of piggyback
Mhm,
on what you're saying about especially in an era where
mhm.
we are going to be doing things more remotely. It's going to be more times in front of screens. So
Yeah.
that's going to make the marketing all that more imperative, which makes it even more important that you get with someone that actually knows how to do it. And,
True.
well, yeah, well, this has been great. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about yourself or about your work, or anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would love to end with a fun question.
Sure.
So, yeah, so as you may know, the COVID-19 pandemic will be with us for a while,
Hmm.
both in the present and the future. So, therefore, if you could add a COVID-19 related service to reputation rehab, or just to mental health in general, the mental health field in general, what would it be?
Wait. Walk me
It's
through that
a
again. That's fascinating. What do you mean? Like, I didn't quite
yeah.
I didn't quite
So if
understand it.
you
Yeah.
could,
Huh.
yeah, sorry, it was a long question.
No, that's all
If
right.
you could add or if you could add or make up a COVID-19 related or focused service, digital marketing service slash mental health, what would
Oh.
it be? And yeah,
I mean, that's so interesting to think about,
yeah.
because no, because what you said, that because now I think about, like, it's it would have to be a marketing service that addresses so many of the issues that we face now, that but in a way that a marketing service could help with. I mean, like,
Mm,
so it would be something that, again, can work remotely. It'd be something that connect to people with strong technology and a strong grasp of that technology. But
no.
as you say that,
Mm,
like, I can't help but think of things that my friends told me about, and when I would see them at, like, bars in what looks omniscient, and we in like a month or two, or even weeks before the pandemic, of I had a friend that was getting into that, I totally forget what it was called, and I wouldn't say the proper name anyway, but it was essentially text therapy, and it was like text
mm.
meditation and video marketing, and
Oh,
that
wow.
because that really is, like, that's not marketing, but it's not far from marketing. Like, if it's
Yeah, it's
music,
like,
that's only an octave higher or lower, if to use an analogy.
yeah.
And and I think it's particularly speaking of this, starting from the place of reputation rehab. I think that would be how, at least off the top of my head, how a COVID-19 service would work. It would be like, it's marketing, it's educating, but it also has this, like, feel good,
Mm,
comforting aspect that maybe we don't traditionally
mm.
associate with a marketing company right now.
Yeah, I agree. Mm.
Right?
That was a
Hmm.
good, and yeah,
Well, no, I was
that
gonna
was a
ask
good
you if there's anything to
analogy.
add to that, because
But I was like
one of us is
stuck with
actually studying
the music.
psychology, the other studied writing. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's if there was anything more technical that you wanted to add to that, please feel free to do so.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was just stuck at that analogy that you said between like the music and the octaves. I was like, wow, like, yeah, it's the most important, one of the most important
Right.
issues going on in the world right now.
Mm.
Therefore, yeah, the more resource there are, the better.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
even, and, just talking about connections, I couldn't help but be struck by when you were just talking there. I mean, if we're talking about mental health and feeling relaxed and not worried, I mean, taking adequate COVID-19 restrictions is going to be the minimum baseline of that. I mean, how can you
Yeah.
possibly be relaxed or calm or in the moment or
Mm.
mindful in an area where you are, you know, your physical health is imperiled?
It's really hard, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's the world we're living in right now.
Right, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Mhm.
as we've talked about, there are, you know, pathways forward, things getting better as long as you take care of yourself and do what you can. Like you
Mhm.
said, you mentioned those wonderful tips about ways to make your self-esteem a little bit better today. You know, you can be, you can hang in there until things do turn all the way around.
Yeah, just always, yeah, everything is very new to everyone right now. Therefore, there's a lot of try and errors, but just always remember to surround yourself with positive energy and just prioritize yourself first. Always, always, always. And yeah,
I think
just
that's the great
adopt a
way to
healthy
end.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes. Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That is the best. I think that's the best, most positive ending we've ever had to one of these podcasts. Where that was exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Mhm.
coming out today, Tiffany. This was, I mean, not coming out, but coming
Thank
on,
you for
whatever the right
having
verbiage.
me.
This was great. Well, thank you so much. All right.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of Website Depot, Reputation Rehab, as ever, I'm your host, Greg
Mhm.
Benevent. Take it easy. Have a good night.